Everyone knows what to do with red barrels, right?
BRB UK. Worse teeth, better accents.
Hello, and indeed ahoy hoy, ladies and gents. It's week 1 of Democracy Returns, and it's still going well. Not everything's exploded yet. It's quite nice. I'm Dan, I'm one of your hosts. This is ostensibly a video games podcast called BRB UK, and it is episode 426 of said podcast, so welcome, one and all. We're nearly up to our half a millennium of podcasts. But two people who've been with me for most of the way of that journey is Tim. Say hello.
Hello.
He's one of the two. And the other one is Coleman, who used to be a Scotsman, but he's now just Coleman.
Ochmanu.
Ochmanu.
Mick
What's up with your new? What's up with your new? What's up with... You ought to see something about that.
I'm a journalist.
Can we not play our part in the breakdown of the UK at the moment, please? We don't need to help that any further than it's going.
Yeah, that has gone a bit wrong. What? If you're putting on a bloody kilt, I'm not going to be happy with you.
Don't do it, Coleman.
Don't do it.
Oh, is that the Buy My Book?
Luke, it's my book.
Wow. He stole that Wikipedia logo like a didn't he? On the front lab page, on the front. I've got
a copy somewhere in the room, but I'm not sure. I think it's over there. Anyway.
Right. So, chaps, another week. Such is life. And Tim.
Yep.
There's two things we need to just do a quick check on. One,
right. You
still have a PS5, correct?
Just about.
Coleman, you still do not have a PS5.
No, and I had the hunt was back on again this week.
At 1:36 in the morning, apparently.
Well, yeah, so there was two...
When you say the hunt's back on, I'm imagining you like outside like an Amazon warehouse with a spear. Just waiting.
The game is afoot. There was a issue with Argos. They had new stock in, and when the stock launched, it was gone instantly, and people went, that's a lot less stock than we thought would happen. And the reason being is scrapers managed to figure out a way of generating a URL link to put the PlayStation 5 in your basket and check out the day before it was meant to launch. So most of the stock had gone before launch.
Whoops.
And they didn't even announce that they had PlayStation 5s going up. They just went up and then were gone within a minute.
Flippin' heck.
So, yeah.
And are we assuming there's still a large contingent of utter arsehats rampaging around the internet saying, I've got 500 of them and I sold them all for £1 million?
There's a lot of that. Argos have come back, and also the help bots on, I know they're not actual bots, they're human.
Are they complicit? Is it Skynet? Are they going, mate, look, I'll give it, if you're nice to me, I'll give you a secret Earl.
The Argos Twitter account seems very sassy, the ones that are meant to be helping. They're like, yeah, I heard you, like all that kind of, like someone was complaining saying, hey, what about all these bots that keep, all these PlayStation 5s that keep appearing on eBay?
Was it ever going to go, why have you got against people of my creed? Well, I'm a robot like the rest of them.
They replied and said, I can't give you any information about stock updates on PlayStation 5 at this time. They said, that's not what I asked. And they said, yes, I know what you asked. You asked about our site being hacked. Like, got really arsey with this guy. I don't know if the tweet's still there, but I found that very interesting. But Argos, the company, have actually come out and said that they are looking at some form of bot protection for the PlayStation 5s. Well, in general, but PlayStation 5 sales now.
It's almost like it's taken them ages to cotton on to this fact. I mean, I don't obviously know the ins and outs of the system they're using, but you would have thought there would have been somewhere a field in a database for each product saying, do not sell before. And it goes, what's the current date on the server? Is it the day after this is allowed to go on sale? Yes, it is. Well, we're allowed to go on sale, but apparently not.
The other thing was, so far, I think Game and Argos are the only ones that said that they're going to look into some form of bot protection. Asda have stock, apparently, but it's not live yet because they are trying to work out some way of making sure it's limited to one per customer, which is the most I've seen any retailer do so far. I think that's it. The current rumours are 1st of February, so Monday, for
Wow.
The next stock coming in for the UK, but then it should be quiet for a while because there's a bit of a chip shortage at the moment.
Yeah, there is. And, I'm appreciating how, this isn't just on PS5s and Xbox Series X's.
Also extends to your mighty PCs, Dan, as well.
My mighty PC stuff. I am only just realising how bloody lucky I was to get my hands on a RTX 3080 because there's still back orders from people who tried to buy them back in September. But it's now everything that has a silicon chip in it, like cars. That cars are hitting manufacturing problems. Not just because Brexit, because that's still messing the system up as well. But it's like Audi actually. Their rate limiting step is the availability of silicon chips because there's just a global shortage of them.
Can't you just eat someone else?
Well, they could. But they quite like game chips, those that are really fancy ones that you get in an Audi.
Delicious.
They are delicious. They're a bit like, I always like to think they're like a posh version of ridged chips.
I didn't mean to hijack the start with, I still don't have a PlayStation 5. But we were meant to hijack the start of the show because Tim wanted to talk about something and I wanted to throw in the opportunity to once again go. Basically news. Tim, tell us about stocks and shares.
Well, yeah, I don't know if you guys have seen this going on. I've mainly sort of seen it through Twitter this week generally. But there's been a lot of chatter about the stock price of GameStop particularly, and latterly AMC and some other stocks as well. But
stocks that should be failing in this current climate.
Well, yes, and stocks that were shorted against or basically bet on to fail.
Yeah.
And Reddit got wind of this. I'm not sure exactly how they got wind of it in the first place. Presumably someone with some knowledge of the stock value or something. Anyway.
There's a Reddit group, stock group that's kind of comprised of hobbyist stock shares, bettors, traders, but also professionals, and they kind of get together, and that's kind of where it went on, and it's kind of started as a vendetta against one single reporter, and then turned into a full out. Let's just see if we can bankrupt a bunch of hedge fund guys.
Yeah, they describe themselves, this subreddit, as the Wild West of investing advice. Or also like 4chan found a Bloomberg terminal and decided to do some trading, which is a terrifying thought. I don't think there is actual monetary value in just sending a stock trader goatsy pictures again and again and again. But, hey, what do I know?
I take it they all started buying stock and this ended up raising GameStop's prices to what they haven't been for about 11 years.
So it all started, apparently, there's an investor called Ryan Cohen who's previously invested in very safe stocks like Apple. He all of a sudden bought a 10% stake in GameStop.
Delicious.
Which is the optimum slice of cake you want. But the reason it attracted notice is because it allowed that amount of stock allows him to be on the board of directors. And he started pushing the company to expand its e-commerce presence. So short sellers were then finding they had to buy more stock to cover their borrowing. And because it looked like it was going to fail, but didn't, it meant that the individual, I'm getting very confused here. Basically, people gave money, but they thought it was going to fail. But the people who kept pushing it up meant that they profited in something. Robin Hood was involved. I don't even understand.
This is what I was trying to explain in slight layman's terms. But basically, people shorted the stock on GameStop, which means that they're basically betting on it to fail. Yeah,
right.
So they will make money if it does badly, which is an inherently bad practice. Even in
I have a question.
Even in money markets. And amongst people that, do trading and stuff, these people that short are generally looked down upon because it's not a nice way of doing things.
Everyone else is taller than them.
Well,
that's why they look down on them.
This person looks down on the other person. And there's a lot of class stuff going on, so that reference is even more pertinent. But anyway.
I have a question.
Yes.
Right, you're saying betting on it failing. Now, my understanding of betting is that you give someone some money and go, I think this is going to happen.
Right, but
But
this
with
is where it
stocks,
gets.
surely you're investing in them for them to appreciate in value. You don't give, all right, I'll give you a tenner now in the knowledge that you're going to give me £5 back. That's not good business.
That's why it's a simple way of describing it, but it's not accurate to
it's
what's
not a very
actually
good way
happening.
of describing it, is it?
What is
No,
actually
it's
happening
rubbish.
is you're buying you're borrowing against the value of the shares at one value, but then not actually purchasing it until it drops in value. It's very complicated. It's
sounds like make-believe money.
Right. No, but that's the problem with trading. The whole thing is complete. It's just levels of build on other and this is another level of that they've built on their previous levels of.
Coleman, I'll lend you £200, but if Tim buys another Rui, you've got to give me £400 back. Is that how it works?
This deal's getting worse by the second. You know when someone's really concentrating on singing and they close their eyes and kind of go into a zone? Tim's doing that while he's trying to explain this to Dan, and it's quite amazing on my side.
But basically, it's not like borrowing money. It's like you selling Coleman 200 bananas, but waiting for the price of bananas to drop after you've promised to sell him the 200 bananas. And then buying the bananas at a lower value, therefore making money.
Have I taken the money from him at their current price, but I neglect to actually purchase the stock until
they drop? And they're going to drop before you say. So you're betting on it doing that. That's essentially how it works, basically. But yeah, as I said, it's a shady kind of thing. And if you want more information on it, watch a film called The Big Short, and it explains.
I love that film.
It explains exactly how the prime mortgage disaster kind of set the whole ball in motion for the whole economy collapsing, and why it's all entirely their fault. And the person that did the short betting on that wasn't the bad guy in a film, but is still a terrible person for doing it, basically. Anyway, right. It's a really interesting film. Go and watch it if you want more information on Shorty. But
on a real note, I shouldn't give Coleman 200 bananas since his potassium levels are already dangerously high.
It's dangerous anyway. There's some Donkey Kong flashbacks that may come in for him.
Out of trees everywhere.
So you can kill people with potassium.
No, you can't.
Yes, you very much can.
You see chimps at the zoo going out the tree.
Well, it's because they don't give them a massive bucket of bananas to do what they want with. They ration the bananas. I mean, true, in someone your age, it's unlikely if you have good functioning kidneys that the rate in which you could consume potassium would be enough to overwhelm your kidneys, and that potassium giving rise to a heart arrhythmia and causing you to have banana-related
really
death.
Quickly, Dan. Well done.
Oh, really, Tim? Yours was so exciting. I got thrilled by the discussion you've got to basically sell something and then sell it lower, and then bananas.
Back to the point. I am, as much as though I don't know exactly what the hedge fund was possibly underpinning in terms of company pensions and other things, and I'm sorry for any people affected that way. I assume, though, that the hedge fund was just for rich people to make more money, in which case, Reddit, well done, and continue doing that, and also don't stop there. But yeah, it might actually put a lot of traders off actually shorting against gaming companies in case a similar thing happens in the future. So it might be a good thing, maybe. But anyway. Yeah, it's definitely something that's been interesting me this week and has exploded a bit more today in the last couple of days, basically. But
So what have you learned, Tim? What's your take-home message?
that if people find ways to exploit the money markets that upsets rich people, they will ask for the rules to be changed. And that is the only time they'll ask for the rules to be changed if they're making a lot of money.
Society full stop, though?
Yeah.
All right.
It's something I
just
already knew. It's just, more confirmation of that fact. Because if you didn't know, the way Robinhood got involved is Robinhood is a app for trading, I believe, or an online portal for trading and stuff. And they have stopped people being able to buy into shares. I think they delisted it and made it a bit more awkward to find. How to trade shares.
Because it wasn't on the list, mate.
GameStop.
That's why you can go down your list and go, there it is. I'll have that. If they remove from the list, you can't find it. You just got to guess at random numbers and letters.
Well, as of today, as we're recording, the Thursday, the 28th of January, the subreddit got banned. Then it got banned from Discord. Then the subreddit got put back up again. I think it's still down on Discord. And you said about the limitation on Robinhood. I believe other apps have also banned them from being able to
followed suit afterwards.
It's and apparently now the stocks for GameStop are starting to go back down again.
And that's the only thing. That's where people that don't entirely understand how this works possibly might lose a load of money. So, be careful. with stocks and shares.
So that's how bad the world has got. Tim is now giving financial advice to people.
I did debate on getting a friend of mine who's very good with stock news and stuff, or just to get like a couple of words from him this week. And I thought, you know what? We need Tim on this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm glad we did.
Yeah. But Tim, you were making bleating noises before we started recording about getting very excited about it doesn't matter that Coleman can't get a PS5 because it might be a bad idea to have one anyway.
That's laying it on a little thick. But I was just saying, I don't know if you've heard. I've heard of a few people having a couple of issues with a PS5, and I experienced one of those issues this week, basically.
Okay. I've been hearing problems since launch day, but...
Yeah, I mean, look, there's going to be teething problems, and I think it sounds like something fairly harmless, but just something I'm going to be keeping an eye on. Like, I got to a point where the operating system was running really
blue smoke
slowly in the kind of menus. It was just not, it was really sluggish and not moving between things. And then got notification that despite having a little bit of room on my hard drive, it wasn't downloading updates. Like, there was a few updates that hadn't gone through. So I was like, okay, well, I've installed a bit recently, so I'll clear some room. Went to go into my hard drive, had a real difficulty accessing the game library in the hard drive. Like, had to actually restart the machine to get access to the game library to delete Cyberpunk at the moment, because I thought that was worth clearing up some room for. But then, it did this thing where it went into just the PS5 was just had a blinking white light and just didn't restart, and then was just blinking, didn't respond to the controller. Googled it, it seems to be a thing, and the current workaround solution seems to be unplug it from the back, and then it won't be very happy when you plug it back in again, and then it will, go on about rebuilding the system and all that sort of stuff.
This sounds very similar to a PlayStation 4 problem from launch.
Yes, exactly. But
so at least they're consistent at Sony.
Yeah, but I've never had it run as sluggishly as it was on the PS5. Basically, like, it was almost unusable. It was taking 10 seconds to go from one icon to the next, sort of thing.
I mean, have they pinned down? It almost sounds like it might be something to do with the super sexy drive doing something peculiar.
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that yet. But I don't know if that's. Have we still? I still haven't seen any news about what external hard drives and stuff you can use with it, and I don't know if they're having some issues that are slowing that information down.
You can put another NVMe SSD in it. I know that much.
But they haven't patched it to allow you to use the extra SSD yet. There's a slot for it, but they're going to unlock it later.
And they haven't told you what type of things you can get. And
basically,
I don't think they've told you which external stuff. Yeah, and I'm wondering if there's a general syncing with other hard drive problems or something going on with the hard drive that they need to have some. Anyway, but as I said, not been a major issue, and since unplugging it, plugging back in, and then I restarted it when it turned it back on just to be on the safe side, sort of thing. It seems to be happy, it's moving around freely again, and seems to be okay. But also just
it's moving around freely, so it's terrorising you in your front room. But also, you've got a roaming PS5.
Just like a Roomba with a knife.
But just on another small point though,
300 bananas for some reason.
Demon's Souls is the first game I've played on disc on it as well, and that does seem to be making a lot more noise than I was expecting for the way they was saying about this being quite quiet. Yeah, it does make a bit of noise when it's playing from disc. So.
But you'd expect that. You'd expect there to be more noise when it's playing. Doesn't it do the PS4 thing and install everything to the hard drive and then just basically authenticate that you have a disc copy?
I would have thought so, but as I said, it does seem to be noisier than I would expect in comparison to the PS4 or the PS4 Pro.
Is it because it's roaming about your front room and has situated itself near your head in this instance?
No. I mean, it's
right.
probably marginally closer to me than it was, but only by, an inch or so.
It's in the house. It's got a gun.
It's in the walls.
Good. Shall we talk about video games?
Yes, let's do that.
Have you got a safe word to let your PS5 know it's gone too far?
Safe word is
it's got a safe mode.
Anyway.
Me and Tim got to start because we've been sent code for games.
You should.
For a game.
Now, this is a game that I have quite a bit of fondness from my days back in the Amiga, and that is a game called Turrican.
I think we all do know in various guises. You, a slightly different game.
You don't just say Turrican, Dan. You say,
welcome to Turrican.
Sorry.
Welcome to Turrican.
if you were born in the 80s and had an Amiga, then well done.
It was like, oh, wow, speech.
We got sent
that and parallax scrolling. That's all I was interested in.
we got sent,
I cannot describe how excited I was about parallax scrolling back in the day.
We got sent a copy of Turrican Flashback, which is a collection of Turrican, Turrican 2, Mega Turrican, and Super Turrican.
Yeah.
Only two of these games have I played before. Yes, Dan.
Oh.
What is the difference between Mega Turrican and Super Turrican?
Mega Turrican was on the Mega Drive. Super Turrican was on the Super Nintendo.
Yes.
I can add to that,
and I'll get to that.
In the past, and up until I played this game, this Flashback collection, I would have fought you for the opinion that Mega Turrican was superior to Super Turrican.
Oh, but does it turn out it wasn't?
I can tell you I was wrong.
Yeah, a bit like you were with the whole SNES versus Mega Drive thing anyway, mate.
It's not really.
Far better.
I'll tell you, I didn't know that there were console versions of Turrican because I was part of the Master Elite Amiga Master Race back in the day, so I didn't even know such things. But
I played the original games on. I think I played the original game on my Amiga, and I think my friend had had Turrican 2 on the Atari ST, so I think I played that less. I think it was on the Atari ST as well. Maybe.
If you don't know, Turrican is a side-scrolling kind of platformer,
action platformer,
shooty bang bang game where you are a dude in kind of cyber armor. You fire lasers. If you hold down one bar, then you have a laser that sounds like a chainsaw. And young Cliff Blazinski went, hold on, I'm going to store that for later. Gun with a chainsaw. Love that.
Having it.
Yeah. And also there's a range of other power-ups like mines, and you can turn into a wheel, which I used to find very amusing as a child because that was the closest thing I had to Sonic. And walls of lasers, which have really confused me because I don't know when you've been playing, Tim. But one, playing on the controller, complete novelty. Like I'm used to a joystick with a keyboard next to me, and I'm working out, I'm going, wait, how do you the wall laser thing? You hit spacebar. What do you do? I don't know how to do this.
Well, I mean, I remember playing it on a joystick back in the day as well. I could be wrong about that, but I swear I did. But yeah, this is one of the first games I remember having an arsenal of weapons as well. I think that was one of the kind of unique things about it. Like I don't remember many other games you could like pick up other weapons as you went, but this was the first one where you had like an arsenal of weapons available to you right from the start. And I remember it being a game like just covered in secrets. There's like secrets right from the beginning. Always go left.
Go to the left, get a 1-up. Yeah. Unless you're playing the second game I found, because I had Turrican. I loved Turrican. I used to play the holy heck out of it. I don't think I've ever finished it, but when I was replaying in this version of the game, I don't think I ever got this far. And then the big fish comes up and like, oh no, I have got this far and I've beaten this boss. Yeah. And then, so I must have got, maybe I didn't get past that boss because I don't remember this. And then the big creature starts coming along the wall. Like, no, I've definitely done this bit too. So I must have got further than I realised. Maybe I have beat this game.
But, right, thanks to Turrican Flashback, I have now finally definitely completed Turrican. I can definitely say that because I did that the other day. I played through most of it, and exactly like you, I got to that fish boss, and I was like, I have been here before, but I was like, how did I get here before? Because there's one thing they've added to this game that I think makes the whole thing more playable in kind of modern terms.
And what is that, pray tell,
That is the ability to rewind.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Yeah, like really does make everything more forgiving. The combat, even the platforming, like, more like intricate, like when you've got to be like pixel perfect in jumping, it makes the whole thing less frustrating when you can just rewind if you make a mistake, basically.
And it's something that was kind of added in a lot of ROM formats back in the day when all that started off. And it seems a lot of these straight ports to consoles, they've added this functionality with, I think, like the Disney collections and the Lion King and all that kind of stuff. It's all been added in. And it is a cool thing, but it's something that I had to deactivate because when I was trying to do capture, I kept accidentally hitting it and going, God damn it, and now it looks weird on the screen. And so, yeah. But it's a nice little thing, especially if you're trying to go for the... And I don't think it affects trophies in this game.
No, whereas, and I got to that fish boss and a little bit beyond that, and I was like, how did I get here before? And I was like, oh yeah, cheats. There's the 99 level, 99 lives cheats, and there was like an invincibility cheat and a few cheats you could get back in the day. I remember this being one of the games that had not only cheats, but also like level maps in magazines back in the day, where they'd show you like the whole layout of like, you know, the entire level so you could know where to go. And yeah, level 4 in this game, that can, suck a whole bag of dicks. Like it's the whole thing looks the same. It's kind of brown. It's like stuff that looks like blood that drips from the ceiling, and it's a maze in diagonal form, and you can't tell if you're in a like dead end until you get there. But other than that, I think the level design and stuff is quite good. It's a slightly unforgiving game, and the rewind makes it a much more forgiving game and a much easier playthrough, I thought.
This has to be one of those kind of nostalgia trips where it's something that's very fun from my childhood, and then upon booting it up, it's one of the few games that I've gone, it's exactly how I remember it.
Yes.
It's beautiful. It plays like, I love pixel art, and this is one of those games that probably got me into that. I remember seeing, especially in Turrican 2, I didn't have Turrican 2, but I had a demo of Turrican 2, so like the first level.
Okay, yeah.
And I remember when they changed like movement in that game, and like ever so slight details. A lot of it's the same assets reused, but then slight things like you could jump on enemies, and it was the same enemies from the previous game, but they made like little robots, but they made them rustier. And then if you jumped on them, they squished down like in a Mario game and then ran off. Yeah. And I'm like, when your character goes under a waterfall and there's slight sprites coming away like it's rainfall hitting him, that blew my mind as a child. So, but yeah, this game's gorgeous. It plays really well. Unfortunately, the console versions I never knew existed. They are inferior products to the previous games, I think.
They don't feel like the same game.
They don't. And it's like someone has skinned your best friend and they're wearing their face and they've turned up to your house to hang out, and you're like, you know that they're not them, but you've got to pretend.
I think Mega Turrican even more so, just because it's without having the kind of thing that you can whip round in 360 degrees, like the laser that goes around you.
It gets replaced with a grapple hook.
It gets replaced with a grapple hook, which is rubbish.
It's like playing Strider. It's like a Strider Turrican.
Yeah.
So, I mean, why was that? Was that limitations of the platform, do you think, that they couldn't do that?
It's definitely a hardware limitation, yeah.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. It's because it's the only game in the collection that does that. I mean, obviously Turrican 2 didn't do that, but yeah, I'm not sure if it was a limitation or just the people that were porting it decided to do something slightly different. I don't know exactly what went on there, but it does very much change the game, and the grapple hook's not entirely enjoyable to use, I didn't find, and doesn't add too much to the gameplay sort of thing.
Because Turrican and Turrican 2, they're done by Factor 5, and they've got an incredible history if you ever want to look them up. Anyway, but the console versions were done by Accolade.
Now that's a name that takes me back.
Who ain't doing so hot these days. But anyway. Yeah, it's really weird. When you get to the Mega Drive, like the iconic weapon of the Turrican games, if you play them on the Amiga, has been nerfed completely and changed into something different. Playing the SNES version, I felt it looked worse than the Mega Drive version. It played better.
Yeah.
Although the sound was much worse. It just felt like the music and the sound, the voices and everything was blowing out completely.
I mean, I think the sound was always good on the Mega Drive, but the soundtrack on the Mega Drive version is different and better, I think, basically.
Some of the a lot
that's
of the
weird because the SNES had the better audio hardware back in the day.
I don't know if they just didn't know how to utilize it correctly. But one of the changes
didn't they do an upgrade to their sound thing anyway, but yeah,
I don't know. But one of the changes that I actually really like in the SNES version is they take that kind of the laser chainsaw thing, and they change it from, it's not this super powerful weapon, it freezes the enemy for you to then shoot with your regular. I actually really like that. I
was
didn't know
quite
that was
good.
A thing.
Yeah. But it does make the game feel different again, though. No, changing that that primary weapon, and that's something that you kind of default to a lot in the game, basically in the original Turrican. And I definitely felt its absence in the later two games. One thing I will say, I don't know if you experienced any technical issues, Mr. Coleman. I was playing the Switch version rather than, I think you were playing the PS4 version.
Yeah, PlayStation 4 version.
But I didn't have any problems playing all the way through Turrican, but I lost my progress on Turrican 2. I realised I played through with quite a significant portion without saving, and that's the other thing they've added. You've got up to 6 save slots per game. So I could have negated a lot of the problem with this, but I got to a point where I think I was just walking through the end of a level in one point and just randomly in another where, it just closed the game and I lost all my progress. I was like, oh.
Oh, no, I've had nothing like that.
But just to clarify,
save regularly, save often.
I was going to say, that is perhaps not the fault of the save system.
No. As I said,
didn't save.
Me not saving meant I lost the progress, but I wasn't expecting a hard crash. And that's the only technical problems I've had. And otherwise, it's been a really enjoyable experience, like dipping through some nostalgic childhood. And actually, as I said, I'm not sure I ever completed Turrican. I can now say that I have, so I'm quite pleased about that, basically.
So in terms of, because I mean, sometimes with these kind of revisits, these kind of fairly, it looks a fairly honest port. It doesn't look like they've done too much to gussy it up or anything like that. But what is it? Because sometimes, like, there's been a couple of games where I've played them like on an emulator, and they're obviously the exact copy for, but it's kind of like, I remember that being a much better experience than it actually was, and I kind of wish I left my rose-tinted specs on and hadn't gone back to it. I mean, does it hold up well? Is it still an enjoyable experience even now?
I think so, but it's definitely tinged with nostalgia for me because it's a game that I have some reverence for and its place in the past. I don't know if you'd exactly come to it without that, but I still think it holds up fundamentally in terms of being an enjoyable game for what it is, basically.
I mean, it's a case of for one, when do you ever see Amiga ports? You don't. You very rarely see some kind of Amiga port. So it's good to see one that runs this well. The only kind of additions that they add, like they added the rewind feature. You can muck around in settings, add scan lines and all the regular kind of ROM type things that you can do anyway.
And stuff.
Not a big fan of that. Scan lines are rubbish. The digital scan lines are rubbish anyway. But the game itself, again, first two games, very enjoyable in this kind of environment where we get a lot of retro influence type games. I have played a lot of games in preview that are similar to Turrican, so much so that I think if you're a fan of that type of Metroidvania run and gun style, but a little more emphasis on the action than the puzzle, then these are very well recommended. And especially so if you play through Turrican 1, then you start playing through Turrican 2, you'll find like they kind of have, they turn it on, it looks so similar, but they change enough of it, whereas you'd go, on this level, if I did this, I'd get a 1-up, and you do the same when a bad guy comes out to get you. They kind of change expectations.
They play with your knowledge of the previous game, basically, but...
And for that alone, and for the price, I think it's like $24.99, something like that for the physical version. I don't know how, at the moment, digital versions aren't up yet, so it's hard to see. They come out day of release of this podcast. I'd assume about the same. I think that's worth it. Just out of 4 games, I reckon 3 of them are enjoyable, especially if you're playing them on the go on the Switch. But I'd recommend them on any platform. I really, really like playing through this game again. I'm very happy they sent me a copy of this because I was going to pick it up anyway.
But
Happy Coleman.
I may double dip and just get a Switch version as well. So, take it around
very
with
nice.
Dad and go, Dad, remember this?
That's lovely, son. Thanks for that.
My dad will actually be excited.
If you liked the game previously, Dan, as well, I recommend it. It's a good way to play through it and enjoy it and see more of it than you may have experienced before without having to invest too much time in it as well. Like
it's aged very well, like a fine wine.
Like a fine wine, like
Seth,
a
Seth for most of level
lovely,
4, level
like
4, 1, level 4, 2, one of the
tower.
ones. Go to hell.
Spicy.
Yes.
Right. Tim, we both played the same game.
Oh, we have.
We have, and this is a rather fun little puzzle.
Oh, it's good.
Called Grindstone, which I've been playing on an iThing.
Oh, an
because it's
iThing?
part of an iThing because it's part of Apple Arcade. Which,
Right.
thanks to the lovely people at EE, other mobile providers are available. I get free with my contract, so I've been giving it a bit of a squirt.
Okay, I've been playing on Switch, and I purchased it because I like the sound and like to support puzzle games that don't have microtransactions in them. Yay!
I think this game looks gorgeous, but I have no interest in it whatsoever. So
Why don't you
take
have
it
an
away,
interest
lads.
in it?
Sorry?
Why don't you have an interest in it?
Because I just know I won't stick with it. I don't really have the patience for puzzle games these days. I prefer following stories and stuff, you know.
It's not too bad. I mean, it's got a.
Yeah, I
it's
wouldn't say it's got a story, but there's some flow through to the what's going on kind of thing.
I think if this was, I mean, I don't have an
Character
iDevice, but this would be more of a mobile game for me to just waste a bit of time on. But picking it up as a console game, I'd rather play a more bigger, fuller console game type thing. So yeah,
I mean, to me, I mean, I've not played it on Switch, but to me, it seems something that would somewhat be a little more at home on a phone, which is how I played it. And in that context, it's some top toilet gaming action. So essentially, what the aim of the game is, you've got to. So you're on a playing field that's like what kind of 8x8. It's an 8x8 grid that's filled up with different coloured monsters. You've got blue ones, green ones, red ones, yellow ones. They're the tastiest. They are delicious, the yellow monsters. And what you've got to do, ostensibly, is to chain through as many monsters as you can. And like each level has a set of goals. Like you've either got to kill a certain number of monsters, or there's some boss monsters that you got to kill, or there are certain certain challenges you have to do. And it's quite nice. It freshes it kind of having those different goals per level does freshen it up a bit. Basically the
two
more
goals are
monsters,
always the same, but
but you've got to kind of the kind of twist of it is that you can only chain between monsters of the same color unless you go through a grindstone. If you get one of them to drop, if you chain through 10 monsters in one go, one of those will drop and you can then use that on the following turn. So it's all about trying to anticipate where you might get into a tight corner and where you're going to need those grindstones the most. Because on some levels there are immovable obstacles in the play field, or big lava pits, or kind of trapdoors that fall open.
Hazards generally.
And you've got to plan quite far ahead for that. So it's been quite it's one of those games which to me is very simple, but can be when it really hits its stride and RNG isn't stiffing you during your playthrough. It can be a really nice cerebral puzzle experience. I mean, I don't know how you found it, Tim.
I've really, really liked it. It's one of my favourite puzzle games for quite some time, possibly since Tetris Connected, I think. But it may even surpass that in terms of the amount of time I've played and put into it, just because it's easy for me to do on a second screen on my Switch and on the go and bits and bobs. I don't know how far through the game you've got, Dan. I think I'm level 68 or something.
I'm in the 90s.
Okay. Have you done all the side levels as well, all the bonus levels?
I've been doing the daily grind.
Okay, I've done some of the daily grinds, but no, they're like bonus levels that you find off on the side that don't count.
No, I haven't done them yet.
Oh, okay, because I've done all of them on the way. There's 10 of those per level as well, basically. I really, really enjoy it. Like the fact that you can get different equipment and have different combination of equipment. I'd be interested to see what combo you've gone with as well, Dan. But I really like the way it works. You go back to the inn to get like drinks when you need to stock up on health. There's little challenges you can do there that it gives you extra rewards for. And then there's loads of resources you can earn in game and, while you're doing stuff that kind of can then be turned into different parts of the equipment that you need to refresh some will refresh between rounds, but others like that generally give you better powers. You need to kind of keep on filling up.
So in terms of that equipment, there's like kind of consumable equipment, like you got like swords, arrows, like swords that will turn everything in a whole line of enemies into ice that you can then just power on through, or something that blocks an attack but shoots something back at the attacker. Arrows that will generate some health if you kill something with them,
or things that will change your position and stuff, which is quite handy as well.
And then also your bright blue Viking boy, whatever he's called, Gorge or something like that. You can get sets of armor for him that confer bonuses, like it'll take a point off boss monster, a hit point off boss monsters, or you can start an attack with a certain number of kind of chains already in the bag, making it easier to get to 10 and get. I
generally stick with the one that they give you early on, which is the one that just means you've got a chance of dodging attacks. That seems pretty strong and powerful.
In fact, I can probably tell you exactly what
your build is.
What my build is.
And
this
then
is great audio podcasting.
I've got the sword that allows me to move up to 4 spaces. The potion that allows me to start and move my place to anywhere else on the board, sort of thing, as an emergency backup. And then I just use the basic shield most of the time, unless I get stuck. But I think
that's pretty much my loadout. Actually, to be fair,
I find that's the best and gets you out of most levels without actually using any resources. But then you've got the backup of being able to move somewhere else if you really need to. But it's just a really enjoyable puzzle game. The level to level thing where you've got to get a crown off one like boss monster thing that has to be chained through by at least 5 of the same color before you get to it. There's a treasure chest where you got to get the key and then chain through 10 to get to the treasure chest. Generally, going through each level. Each level thing seems like its own fiendish puzzle that needs to be solved in a slightly different way because of the different hazards and stuff that Dan was mentioning earlier. And really like the way it plays out, and really like the way it works, and the progression system and the different upgrades and stuff you can get work really well. So I've been really enjoying it.
Blended.
Definite
How
recommend.
much is this on the Switch? By the way?
$17.99.
Ooh,
which
really? As much as that?
As I said, I really don't mind supporting a good puzzle game that doesn't have any microtransactions and works really well and plays well and nice art and well done and is something slightly original. It feels a little bit like, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of Puyo Puyo or Columns in a way. Basically, it's something most similar thing, but then it adds its own kind of flavor with having your actual character on the board actually physically chaining through things, and he kind of smashes through things with his sword. And there's some really nice art at the end of the level where you actually beat up the king you're taking the crown off, and then you need a certain amount of crowns to unlock the end of the level and stuff like that. But I don't know about you, I've been mostly going through the game and just playing until I get everything on a level and then moving on, basically.
Yeah, no, it's good times. And if you've got Apple Arcade, it's one of those. I mean, the quality of stuff on Apple Arcade is highly variable. I will tell you that much.
Oh, it's a bit up and down,
but it's one of the good ones. It is one of the good ones.
I think, if it comes to Android, I'll probably pick it up myself. But it's not one that I think I need on the Switch right now. But
17. It's a fun game, but I think 17 quid's a bit on the steep side. I think a tenner, would be my advice.
Well, as I said, I like my puzzle games. I'm happy for the price I paid, but I think at a tenner, most people would be happy with it, basically. So
I can, stuff that isn't mainline Nintendo does tend to go on sale pretty quickly on the eShop store as well. So look out for that as well.
Why can't I look at a game's rating yet? God damn it, Nintendo. God damn it. There's just so much arse water on the bloody eShop on the Switch. It's so difficult to find the good stuff. Seriously, Nintendo.
Do you remember when they allowed customer reviews for something like 3 days and then took it away? Yep. That's why. We ruin it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why you can't have nice things.
We all put our stock, we all buy stocks for GameStop, and then we lose things. Get them taken away from us.
That still confuses me greatly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, we have some news topics. I will buzz through them very quickly because we are short on time. That's got to be the catchphrase for this show coming forward, I reckon. We're short on time.
The big short on time.
The big short on time. Anyway, yes, topics. We said last week there was a Resident Evil 25th anniversary showcase, which we couldn't talk about because we were recording like 3 hours before that happened.
I have a question.
Yes, Dan.
Do you find it as depressing as I do that Resident Evil's 25 years old and you can remember the first Resident Evil game
Everything
coming out?
being 25 or 30 years old at the moment makes me crumble to dust, Dan. So, yeah.
Bloody cream eggs. They're 50 years old this year, apparently.
Well, I didn't know of the Resident Evil series until 2 came out, and my uncle handed me a demo and he said, here you go, you can go play this. And then my mum went, is that suitable for him? He goes, yeah, it'll be great. And then he like very quietly went, yeah, get a shotgun, shoot the zombies in the legs, they'll just fall off. It's brilliant. So I kind of got away with that one.
Of course, if you were really cool, you were introduced to Resident Evil when it was known as Biohazard.
No, I know, but I was too young at the time. And I shouldn't have been playing the second one at that age either. Anyway, Resident Evil's 25th anniversary showcase, it has happened. And the big kind of clanger on this one is that Resident Evil 8, along with the new trailer and the gameplay that was shown off, the announcement was made that this is actually coming out on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. Bit of a jip, I think, because they went, hey, here's this new game for the next generation at the PlayStation 5 reveal. Go buy your next generation consoles. Don't worry about it. Go new game. Don't worry. Go buy. Oh, it's on the old generation, by the way, after you bought your consoles.
Well, those of you who've been able to buy a flipping next-gen console
have influenced that decision as well. But
it might. At least there's a good install base who will be able to actually play the damn game. And it looks pretty good considering if it's running, or the footage they showed was running on PS4 and Xbox One. They've done a pretty good job making it look tasty.
It's running in the Resident Evil engine, the same one they used for Resident Evil 7. It's a very versatile engine. They got that thing running in VR, for God's sake. It looks great. It works. They've taken it out of this damp shed looking, like very shack looking Louisiana swamp bayou, mold everywhere, like more mold than a London rental flat, and taken that away and gone, look at the big castle and the shiny shines and the gold everywhere, and it
which is
so
still
lovely.
It's still a bit mouldy and fusty in places,
it's grotty in places, but in the next generation, the current generation, I guess that gives them a chance to go, look at the shiny shines on the luxurious looking furniture.
I have 2 immediate comments. 1 comment, man, Animal Crossing's got very dark. And 2, I don't know, with the whole village thing, I don't know why it just made me think of Animal Crossing. And I'm just, that rather
Tom Nook's gargantuan now.
Yeah, exactly. And number 2, Downton Abbey zombie version, quite like it.
Okay.
And inexplicably massive hats.
Yeah, well, and inexplicably massive women. The giant
she's a tall lady.
Vampire women, I think you're right.
Yeah, the giant vampire woman that the internet seems to have fallen in love with, and now everyone is recycling the John Oliver, Adam Driver jokes for this. But anyway, very funny, the lot of you. It's coming to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. If you buy either of those versions, you will get the PS5 and the Xbox Series X upgrade for free when that is available. I did find it very odd that some sites were kind of running with the story of, oh no one can get PlayStation 5s and Xbox Series X's. We must port this game to preview. That is not what happened, and you know it isn't. No. It's a tactic to sell consoles. You know it is. Anyway, May 7th, it's coming out very, very, very soon. I will be picking that up. And if you pick up a copy of this, you get for free, not free, it's included in the price, you get a copy of Resident Evil Reverse, which looks arse, but I will give it a go.
I mean, just going on the title of it alone, that is just some crap there, quite frankly. It's also coming out on PC as well, which may give you a hint as to what the PS5 and Xbox Series X goodness may be.
But the Reverse, the idea is it's kind of taken that factions, Last of Us, shoot 'em up style, and all the characters are different characters from Resident Evil titles, and they all fight it out in the Raccoon City Police Department. And there is this disgusting cel-shaded comic book filter over it that makes the game look about 10 years old. And but I'll give it a go. I like this idea of you're the hero characters, and then if you get shot, you get kind of reborn as one of the bad guy characters. So you'll be Nemesis or Jack from the Resident Evil 7. And then you're Wesker, I'd assume. And then you have to go out and kill all the players in the map. And yeah, looks interesting, but it, like when I first saw this reported, they said it clearly needs some, like, it's not finished yet. And then, but it's out in May, the 7th of May. How's that?
Well, you know, you can always patch it, can't you?
Yeah. As well as that, there is a free demo available for Resident Evil 8, much like the previous game. It's the same setting, but it's a different character. It's going to tie into the story in a different way. But yeah, it'll all tie in. And I'm assuming there'll be some kind of unlockable in that demo that will then tie into the game of the full game when that's out, which you could do with the previous one as well. There's a crossover with The Division 2. So from the 2nd of February for the following 2 weeks, I think it is, you can unlock different costumes for Resident Evil characters, including Hunk and Leon. One of them for just locking in. And the other thing they showed off was that there is a Netflix movie coming out called Resident Evil Infinite Darkness some point this year. They showed a clip, which apparently they'd already shown off last year on Twitter. So there you go.
Hey.
I think almost everything we could talk about from now until the end of the year, we can probably say, and there's a Netflix show coming of it in some time in the future. Like,
yeah, in this week
anime
alone,
Netflix show.
Yeah, there's a Netflix tie-in for this podcast as well. Episode 457, there's an amazing Netflix episode.
This week they went, there's a Kong Skull Island anime, there is a Tomb Raider anime, there's a Devil May Cry, like all these different animes that are coming from movie and video game properties. And okay, fine, I'll watch them, I guess. Okay. Vicarious Vision has been absorbed by Blizzard.
Got
lost in the Blizzard.
Well, it's not that surprising because they actually were doing the heavy lifting for a couple of the Destiny 2 expansions back when that was being done by Activision and being published on PC via Blizzard. And frankly, they were some of the best bits of content for the game. And I think Vicarious Visions, that they really did prove themselves to be a fantastic studio through doing that. So I'm not surprised in the slightest.
Outside of expansions, they did the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy, which
they did.
Lovely, absolutely lovely. I'm playing through that with my girlfriend at the moment.
Lovely.
They did the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. That came out last year. And that just talk about. I mean, Turrican, I said, plays exactly like I remember it because it is exactly like I remember it. This game, I've gone back and played ROMs of Tony Hawk, so I'm not as good as I remember being. And now I am much better at the game because of this collection. So they do remakes very well, which is great because there is a rumor from Bloomberg at the moment that said that Vicarious Vision had been brought over to work on Diablo 2, which is a long rumored remake for the studio. And apparently Blizzard 1's been disbanded within the company, so that could be where they're picking up from by the looks of it.
Yeah. I mean, I think I think Diablo 4 is far further out than they're willing to admit. And, you know, redoing a fan favorite that is Diablo 2 would go some way to perhaps keeping people entertained while they're waiting for it. Because I think Diablo Immortal, which is the mobile game, I think people have already been turned off on that because of the slightly tone-deaf way the whole thing was introduced in the first place by Blizzard. So, you know, I think Diablo 2 would be a sensible thing to do, and I'm sure something they could have a lot of fun with. And I'd certainly pick it up if they remade it.
Right, now bear with me on this one because there's a lot of crediting different
There's a bear
people.
with you?
Yes, there is a bear with me. There are a lot of people I've got to credit on this news report, so just give me a moment.
Right.
Okay.
So reported from VGC.
Right.
This comes from Star Wars Insider Bespin Bulletin from the BRB podcast, where they spoke about a rumored Knights of the Old Republic remake, or not even, I don't even know if remake, but maybe sequel, but new title in Knights of the Old Republic from Lucasfilm Games. So that looks like a thing that might be happening. I think it's a load of tosh, but there's been more people weighing in on this. So apparently the KOTOR new game, this was reported as to be coming from, not from EA or BioWare, but an outside studio that hasn't been reported of yet. And it will be someone that you're not aware of. And then Wushu Studios' Nate Najda, he went on Reset Era to say that it's not mysterious as you think. It's just not a household name most people are aware of. And also Bloomberg's Jason Schreier, he's previously spoken of a potential KOTOR project on Reset Era and Twitter. So
what are Obsidian doing at the moment?
Obsidian are... crap, I've forgotten. They're doing something. New Fallout New Vegas 2.
Yeah, why not? Let's say that. Let's
Why
say
not?
that.
So it's all owned by Microsoft now anyway.
Although I've just discovered pretending that KOTOR is the half brother of HODOR is now going to amuse me. So I was going to go KOTOR.
Well, can you do that in your brain, Cannon?
What do we reckon this would be? Do you reckon it's a new game set in that time, in the KOTOR time period, a remake of KOTOR, or third option, they're making a what's this? I can't. Something of the High Republic is one of the TV series they're making.
KOTOR.
Oh God, I don't know. They announced like 20 different TV shows.
Well, it might be like an RPG in one of those universes that somehow links up with KOTOR or something. Maybe
I could see because Knights of the Old Republic isn't canon within the story
anymore,
now.
no?
It's Old Republic. It's Legends. So I could see them taking rebooting it. I mean, what I'd love is a remake of the first game done in a Mass Effect style. So imagine something of that scope, but like modern age. I'd love that, absolutely. Because they keep sticking KOTOR on phones and tablets and stuff. And I don't need
it doesn't work as well.
It's not great.
What it will likely be is a reboot of the series to make it canonical with the current timeline of Star Wars.
I mean, it seems that they seem to be willing to make the video kind of content in games canon now, whereas previously it was kind of like, all right, not really sure, this just happens to be in some flavor of the Star Wars universe. But it actually sounds like they're kind of doubling down on making these
all in.
standalone kind of narrative chunks of the kind of Star Wars story arc.
I mean, previously everything was canon. The comic, the Dark Horse comics, the Marvel comics before that, the novels, the games, the spin-off
they weren't
games.
until they weren't.
Everything was all connected. Then the whole point of KOTOR was to go, okay, really, 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 really far before the films.
A long time ago.
Yeah. So we don't mess around with any mythology, and George Lucas doesn't get narked off of us. We're going to go way far before so we can do what we want.
So is this one, it was a long time ago, not a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away?
It was bloody ages ago in the galaxy far away.
Last week.
Really long ago.
Last week. Will these Sith have been at it again?
I think this will be Knights of the Old Republic. Like, if this does go ahead, I know there's a lot of sources going on this, but I still think it's a load of tosh. But if they were to do it, I could see them going, this is Knights of the Old Republic, that is the name, this is a reboot of the series, and it is indirect with the canon of current Star Wars, even though it's way far before.
Even though it's set in the past. That's what I think it might be.
We'll
a story set in the past that's, now... and how much it will borrow from the original KOTOR story remains to be seen. I think it might go and do its entire own thing.
I think the sensible way forward would be to really make it very different, because otherwise it's got to be its brand new standalone thing. As you rightly say, Coleman, it's already been re-released on just about everything under the sun. I'm sure there's a bloody Samsung smart fridge version
of KOTOR in some form.
And
it is a good game.
It is a great game, but I think they've really got to do something different to make people sit up and take notice and want to buy it again, if you know what I mean. So
I think it's on Game Pass if you've never played it and you want to give it a go. If you want to see BioWare, like one of their peak video games, then yeah, this is one of them.
I'd argue Mass Effect 2 outdid that. But
yeah, I never played through Mass Effect.
Mass Effect 2 is a corking game.
I know, we've had this conversation.
I know, and let's have it again.
Lastly, there was a PlayStation State of Play that entirely focused on Destruction All-Stars. I don't know if you guys managed to catch it.
Yes, I'm quite excited. I quite liked it.
It's going to launch on PlayStation Plus on the 2nd of February, so on the Tuesday. Tim, I think you're the only one of us that will be able to play this game, so enjoy, my friend.
Yay.
I am getting very big Onrush vibes out of this game, and it excites me more. And I really hope that it isn't a flash in the pan and it's died down by the time I can actually get a console, because I want to play some of this.
It reminds me more of sort of Destruction Derby type stuff, but with kind of, like almost... Can't think of a game that exactly did it. Almost, not. What was the Met game on? Why am I spacing on that? The Met game that was on VR to start with.
Oh,
One I really liked, sporty. Why am I spacing on that name? Anyway,
it was the PSVR game they gave away on PS Plus.
Yes. I can't remember. Riggs. Yes.
Riggs.
Anyway,
Riggs.
kind of reminds me of that in terms of like there's some kind of flavor of that going on. But yeah, it looks good. I really like the stuff that they showed off in the showcase. Like the stuff that I wasn't sure how it was going to work when you're out of the car, but you seem quite agile and nimble, able to wall run and jump up things and dodge and like get points for doing so. It also seems that you can like kind of get on other people's cars and either hijack them or make them destructible. But they did say that they wanted the cars to be kind of disposable. Like you want to be able to like crashing them into things and jumping out if they're getting too low and just causing carnage for doing that. Various different modes and stuff that they showed off. One of the other things that they did say is that they plan to support it going forward as well. So there'll be free modes and free characters and cars and stuff added to it going forward. So that was good to see. Hopefully, like
any more comments in terms of that this looks like a game that's bloody gagging for microtransactions.
Yeah, but
if they're giving it away on PlayStation Plus, I reckon there will be like cars and skins and stuff for you
there'll
to
be
buy.
Something eventually, possibly, but they haven't really made any mention about that. Most of the stuff they said they'll be giving away for as free updates in the future, so that sounds good so far. They may sell content if it's really successful. I think in a similar way to Rocket League, I think it makes sense to give this game away to as many people as possible because it will thrive from having a good online community of people playing it online. They did. I think one of the team battle things they mentioned was an 8 versus 8 mode. Carnado, I think was the one. And that just it seemed like
I approve of that
points
name.
for just causing destruction and just general mayhem. Ticks all the right boxes at the moment, and as I said, I think it will actually benefit from being on PS Plus. The one thing that does worry me, as you say, Coleman, I'll be the only one of the three of us possibly playing this, and
it's a shame.
There will be the limitation of how many people have PS5s when this game is available. I am wondering, with you saying about the rumours of it being the 1st of February for more stock, the fact that this is a PlayStation Plus game in February, and PlayStation Plus has quite a strong showing in February with this and Control Ultimate Edition and Concrete Genie, which is another game that I absolutely love, which I own it already, but I'm glad more people will get to play that game because it's really enjoyable.
It's like it's one of the times where the PlayStation gods have smiled down on me because with PlayStation, like Concrete Genie, every time it goes on sale, I go, I should get that. Tim said it was really good. I've been meaning to play it. I'll pick it up, and I never get around to it. Now I'm getting it through PlayStation Plus. And Ultimate Control, I already bought Control. And again, the January sale, the Ultimate Edition was touted in that. I was like, maybe I'll get the Ultimate Edition. And then when I get a PS5, it'll be ready to go over. Because they won't let you transfer your game over to the new card. You have to have the Ultimate Edition. Oh, they're just giving it away on PlayStation Plus. Bang.
Well, I started on Game Pass, but I think I'll restart on PS5 because that'll look nicer, hopefully, and that'll be a good place to play it. And then I own it forever. Then, for as long as I'm paying PlayStation, rather than it disappearing on Game Pass. But yeah, Destruction All Stars, I was looking forward to, and this showcase I thought showed it off well and made me more excited for the game. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it even more now. So yeah, cool.
Jolly good.
Bring on February.
Good. That is
Jolly
all the
good.
news. Would you guys like some community feedback and stuff before we get out of here?
Yes.
Feed my back. It's hungry.
All right, so
My favourite
on our
sort of
Discord,
feedback.
if you've enjoyed the show and you want to get in contact with us, you can do via the comment section on BigRedBarel.com, on our Discord, which there's a link available on BigRedBarel.com, and also Facebook and Twitter at Big Red Barrel, and on YouTube, Big Red Barrel TV. Over on the Discord, Chugnut has got in contact and said,
Has he?
I have a question.
Yeah, you do.
Did anyone else join Doshin the Giant when they were younger, and did you allow friends to watch?
I have a question. Allow friends to watch what?
What?
Doshin the Giant.
Is this some
obviously.
weird cult thing that's only up for up north people? Or
it sounds a bit like dogging. This
I know of Doshin the Giant because
did anyone else enjoy when he was younger? And did you allow friends to watch? And then did you used to take turns with friends?
Mm-hmm. This was I used to read a Nintendo official UK magazine or whatever the hell the UK title was, and
what the hell is that freaky thing?
At the time where they were still advertising the 64DD as something that was actually definitely going to come out in the UK.
Wow, improbable breast alert. What? Oh, that. Yeah. Oh, sorry. The disc drive. Sorry, I just 64 double D sounded insane.
Well done. There was 2 games that they were constantly touting. This mysterious new Zelda game that was going to come out, which ended up being Majora's Mask, and Doshin the Giant, which I thought looked absolute wank. So I wasn't excited for it. The Nintendo 64DD never came out in the UK. And then I found out probably about 3 years ago, it actually came out to the GameCube, and I never knew. So there you go. I've never played it.
I didn't own a GameCube, so my GameCube knowledge of games is limited. So
yeah, my GameCube was my Smash Brothers machine.
Also,
I barely used it.
What the freak is that orange thing on the cover of the game? Is that
Doshin the Giant?
Yeah?
He's yellow.
He's
titular Doshin the Giant.
He's related to Andre the Giant, but he's got a bit of liver failure going on, which is why he's orange.
Jaundice. I think Andre the Giant did, to be fair.
Well,
that guy drank a lot.
Yeah. He looks like Mr. Blobby's cousin.
So to answer your question, Chug, no, none of us were Doshin the Giant.
No, we did not.
No.
And I definitely would not have allowed friends to watch. Not with that orange freak in the room.
Ed on Discord has 2 questions for us. I will read both out. He said, Dan mentioned the Outer Wilds as a meditative experience. What games apart from Destiny do you consider playing to be your meditative
There are no other games.
Experience? His is the Formula 1 games. Doing a race at full distance is oddly calming.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with him on that. Racing games I find quite meditative because especially when you get to know the tracks, it becomes quite rhythmical. You kind of always kind of fall into a similar pattern of kind of trying to get the best line through a corner, incrementally improving it. You become very focused and it's quite mindful in that way.
I find with driving games, I have to be so focused that I sometimes can only do them, like play them in short bursts, especially more kind of sim driving game type things. But I think my one to default to for this, for kind of zoning out, if I want to kind of lose a day, I'll play a football game like FIFA or Pro
If you want to
Evo.
lose a day, it's far cheaper. You can just buy Tesco value cider. That's the best way if you want to lose a day.
But that's something I can, just happily just, zone out and play. Otherwise, anything like a Grindstone as a puzzle game is a good kind of just, zone out type thing for me.
It used to be No Man's Sky, but since all the update, like launch No Man's Sky was a proper meditative experience for me. Like I would literally zone out, play that game. Nowadays, I've gone back into Minecraft. I've reinstalled Minecraft on the PC, and works a bit rough at the moment. A lot of stress, a lot of long hours and stuff. So to kind of sit back and just sink yourself into some Minecraft and just bury into a cave and turn it into a house and that kind of stuff. That's my meditative experience. I didn't have meditative experiences with driving games, but I do remember playing one of the Gran Turismos on PlayStation 2, and me and my mates did Le Mans in real time.
Wow.
And I remember, so we had one armchair in front of the TV and then like a sofa to the side, and every now and then someone would come over and go, okay, ready? And we'd over the trigger, go! And then they would swap seats.
Did you kind of in the seats and everything as well, like for the true Le Mans
that's
experience?
How you got to go to the toilet and stuff.
You got to rather than just void yourself in the cockpit that everyone else is using.
Come on,
which is what they do in the real
we had nothing to do. We didn't even have the internet yet. Come on.
I've always secretly wanted to do like a proper endurance race one year for an Extra Life or something like that. It would just be a
24-hour race.
I know
not 24
I
hours
now because I'd fall asleep playing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I understand he had question the second, so smack me up the face hole with another question.
Tougher question is, what games have been in your pile of shame for ages and you really want to play, but for some reason cannot find time for? I have an account on howlongtobeat.com, which I'm not... Oh, not looked them up for.
Oh.
And some of the games I own have been in my pile of shame for a legit 11 years now. I'm starting to get worried I may never be L.A. Noire or Skyward Sword.
Well, Turrican may have been in my pile of shame for a very long time until this week. So thank you again, Turrican Flashback, for fulfilling that dream for me. That might be one of my longest as well. Like, other than that, there'd be, games that I played before that I haven't completed. But yeah, that might be one of the longer ones. But
I've got ones I haven't completed, but I don't consider them my pile of shame because they're just so old,
Well, I think for mine is probably Hollow Knight.
Oh,
okay.
Which I've always really, really wanted to play, but never quite found the brain space to play it. I mean, I know it's a great game, and I've got no excuse not having played it. But there we go. That's my genuine one that's been languishing in my pile of things I should play. I
picked up on a Switch in a sale, and it didn't click with me. So it's again not a pile of shame. Just didn't really get along with it.
There's a few games that I feel that I don't think there's anything really weighing heavy on my pile of shame at the moment. There's a few games I feel like I really should buy and play, and I haven't yet. One of them being Hades, and the other one being Red Dead Redemption 2. I don't know why.
Okay.
I have a hankering to play both of those at some stage, and just never quite got round to picking them up yet, basically. But
I would say Formula One, Nigel Mansell, 1996 on the. No,
Is that where you grow a moustache in real time?
Yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn and God of War, probably. I reckon. I really want to complete those, but
Horizon Zero Dawn, I can't.
And then they just sit there, and then I never get to it, and it will probably carry on.
Fair enough. Righty ho, gentlemen. I think that's it for questions, is it not?
Yes, that is all the questions we got. If you want to get in contact, do so via the things that I said earlier.
Internet.slash.com, BigRedBarel.net/hello.
That those doesn't work.
How do you know, Tim? Have you tried it?
Not lately.
All right, there we go. So shut your face. BigRedBarel.com or internet/.thing/BigRedBarel generally gets you where we are. Can't say hello on Discord.
You typed in BigRedBarel.com/BigRedBarel and it brought up this random video of I think it was Tim, John, and Tudor at EGX. Doesn't do that anymore.
No, don't anger our website. It's a bit temperamental. So anyway,
working on it.
Well, I know you are.
It is a work in progress.
Yep. Right, we are going to disappear now because, well, why? Because we are going to. Thanks ever so much for downloading us. We really do appreciate it. Make sure you leave a review if you feel so able, because it really does, A, helps us make the show get better if there's stuff you'd like to see us do differently. B, if you really like the show, helps us get in front of more people. And it'd be lovely. We always like being told we're great and stuff. Makes me happy.
That's exactly what happens.
Yes, indeed. So anyway, we are going to disappear. So we're going to be back next week. We're potentially talking about the medium, but I understand we may be a Coleman down next week.
Not talking about the extra large.
Yeah, sorry, I wrote that before I realised that I wouldn't be on the show next week.
It's all right, gives me another week to play it.
So if you guys play it, it will be there on the video.
I will be hopefully playing something else. I want to reveal it next week if that's going to be the case, but if it is the case, you'll be sad you missed it, Coleman, I think.
I can't believe you're not jumping on the first proper exclusive release for the Xbox Series X and S, Tim.
I will play it if I have time, but I'm down for a review code that I'm not sure I'm getting yet or not, and I'm not sure when it's coming, so I don't know.
Well, Tim, if you want me, I'll be right here on the edge of my seat, mate, okay? All right, good, lovely.
I did have a quick punt on it. It's very old school Resident Evil.
Yeah, it does look quite old, yeah.
Also, if you guys are up for some pirating this weekend, then let me know.
We've threatened that so many times.
Sea of Thieves.
I want to, but at the moment, there is so they put Ghost Recon Breakout super cheap on PlayStation. It was like £9 something. So me and Bleezy picked it up, and we're going through this. There's a Rainbow Six crossover event, and we're trying to finish that.
Okay.
I think there's like 4 days left of it. So this weekend will be me and Bleezy doing that.
But do say hello to Bleezy.
Yeah, say hello.
I will. Say hello to him now. You're here.
Hello, Bleezy.
Oh, yeah.
Stay away
Bleezy.
from the cloacas. Hey, Bleezy.
Yeah.
Cloaca.
But yes, after that, Sea of Thieves. I'll try to get him on that as well.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Right, we have to go now because I have run out of time. I need to sadly go back to work, which is very depressing. So until next time, I really messed this outro. I've done it all in the wrong order.
It's not like you haven't done it 426 times. Well, 425 times.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, where was I going? Yes, that is the end of the show. We've run out of things to talk to you about, and all that really remains for us to do is to remind you that I have been Dan.
I might have been Tim.
I have been Coleman.
That's a Grogu.
Yep, and this has been BRB UK, episode 426. So until next time, dear listeners, goodbye.
Your ears are quite welcome for the podcasting goodness that you just heard. Why not roll on over to BigRedBarel.com for more podcasts, news, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet, BigRedBarel.com.
Not be bothered to import, basically. But it did seem to be a problem for other people as well, from what I saw today as well.
If you have, because I too am playing Hitman 3, but I'm not playing Hitman 3 because I'm playing Hitman 1 on Hitman 3.
Right.
Because I